All right. Can you hear us now? Something happened and I lost all audio.
Um. Okay, there we are, and we're back. There, okay. Yay! I hope people can hear us. Do we want to just take it from the top?
Well, once we find out if people can hear us, yes.
Okay. We got to give them a minute to get into it because technically you ended and then restarted the stream. So
Yeah.
we'll just sit here and yay! They can hear us both.
Okay, so let's take it from the beginning. Greetings, Earthbound Travelers, by Garth O'Keefe's Sacred Tate. It's Friday. Ames, our producer, is out of town, so I'm producing. 1 second, please. I'm producing, and I forgot that I had to add both audio input and output. And I had to close Streamlabs and reopen it because when I tried to add the audio input, I lost all audio completely. Couple of quick announcements. We are for mature audiences. Secondly, we have no fucking clue what we're doing. And third, we do not condone the use of nicotine products such as vaping. Just because we do it doesn't mean you should. We were not going to do cast guidance today, but Locke forgot and showed up, and I was bored and was like, hell yeah, let's do it. So here we are.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I said before, maybe no one heard me. I don't know who heard what at this point, so I'm just going to say it again. I was on the road. I went to Gulf Wars, and then our travel plans got delayed on the way back. So I really missed doing this. I've been 2 weeks without it, and I was really sad we weren't doing one today, and literally forgot to turn off my alarm. So I'm real glad to be here and talk nerd shit today because I've missed it.
Right quick, before we get started, we just want to give a couple of shout outs first to Peculiar Patrick, who did our music.
Yes.
The thumping theme song. We told him something 1970s game show. He did not disappoint.
He did not.
Phineas Coffee, one of our affiliates. If you need the caffeine kick to get you to the next level, go check out Phineas Coffee. It's top tier coffee for gamers. And you can get there by going to bit.ly/WOTD Phineas. That's WOTD PHINEAS. And finally, NordVPN. Fast, secure, reliable. Head on over to willofthedice.com. Click on their link. Go check them out. And Red Panda Dice and Delights, sexy dice from sexy peoples. And you can find them at redpandadice.com. Okay, I think that's everything.
All right, we've covered all the stuff and that may or may not have gotten heard before. Hi guys. Hi. So we didn't really have a topic for today, but it so happens this week Dungeons and Dragons Wizards of the Coast put out their D&D Direct 2023 announcement showcase, which is their sort of here's what's coming in the next year. And one of the big things that they informed us of in this, possibly the biggest thing, really, that's not an actual thing they're putting out, but that next year is the 50th anniversary of D&D. D&D turns 50 next year, y'all.
I feel old.
I know, I feel so old. Me and you have been playing for 35 plus of those 50 years. Crazy. And so they've got next year's going to be big. They're going to drop a whole bunch of stuff. It's going to be pretty cool. I guess we can just start at the beginning of the showcase.
There's one more thing I got to do because the audio wasn't working. We want to give a shout out to Raph the Mad, who can't join us today because they got to do work shit. We didn't get our bad joke before start of the show, so today's going to be an absolute fucking catastrophe. But I see you're in the audience, Raph, so we miss you.
Hey, Raph, we miss you. We're sorry that you had a thing that you scheduled when you thought we weren't doing this. It's not your fault, but we're going to blame you anyway.
Yeah. How dare you schedule a thing during our thing when we wasn't going to do the thing?
Yeah, there we go. So all right, starting at the first announcement in D&D Direct, the first thing that's coming out next year, or maybe sometime later this year. Did they tell me when it's? D&D is teamed up with Minecraft, and they are putting out a version of Minecraft with all the D&D monsters in it.
Nice.
Where you could actually there seems to be from the images they showed, the ability for your Minecraft players to sit down at a table and play D&D, or you can go out in the world and fight the monsters. So it looks pretty cool. You should check it out if you get a chance. Also, they are putting out as a free PDF through D&D Beyond and Minecraft.net. They are putting out Minecraft Monstrous Compendium, which will include all the monsters they're putting in Minecraft, as well as all the monsters that already existed in Minecraft with D&D stats. So, if you want to put a creeper in D&D, now you can with this free PDF that's coming out.
Slenderman.
Yeah. Then they gave us a new trailer for Honor Among Thieves, which comes out this week. Siri and I have plans to go and see it probably tomorrow. And I will have a review for you guys next week. And then they gave us a Joe Cat animated song about how to get your friends to start playing D&D with you that was terminally cute. And then we get into the meat of it. Like, that's where, next we get into merchandising, which, as a longtime gamer, as someone who's been doing this for 30 plus years, good D&D toys are awesome. And I've always wanted them, and now they exist. I don't know if you've seen it. You can go to Walmart and buy it. They have a black dragon from the Honor Among Thieves movie that is scaled to go with the 6-inch figures. It's pretty big. It's a decent size. It's like $40, but it's $45. But it's a dragon. And then they also put out a gelatinous cube, which apparently breaks down and packs flat, but then you can open it up and it's a cube like this.
Nice.
And you can actually put an action figure inside it.
That's pretty cool.
It's fucking cool. It's really cool. In the announcement, they tell us that new coming out, they have a Displacer Beast toy that's fully articulated and looks amazing.
We'll have to get that for Dan.
Yeah, they got they've already put out the white owlbear. Now they're putting out a brown owlbear as well. And they're putting out a Xanathar toy.
Nice.
Xanathar the Beholder. And all of the eye stalks look independently articulate. He comes with his little goldfish in the little goldfish bowl thing that Xanathar has on the cover of Xanathar's Guide. So that's really cool. I'm really excited about those, and and of course the Honor Among Thieves characters are all getting their own action figures. Those should already be out on the market. And if you didn't already see them, they also they have a line of celebrating the 40th anniversary of the 1980s D&D cartoon. They have put out. They're slowly putting out all of the members of the party from the D&D cartoon.
Sweet.
Currently available are the Acrobat, the Ranger, the Barbarian, who comes with Uni, and I think the Rogue and Dungeon Master are out so far. no Cavalier, no Mage yet, and I don't think they've put out Avenger yet either. But
Now, see, that's the one
he's
I
the bad
want.
guy. Well, I've got good news for you coming up. Then hold on to that. Pardon me a second. Sorry about that. All right, so that's all the toy announcements. And then we get to they're putting out characters from the D&D Honor Among Thieves movie as magic cards. So you can add them as heroes to your magic deck. Which I'm sure Raph would enjoy talking about, but I don't play Magic. I've never played Magic. I'm not that guy. So I got nothing there.
Yeah, we'll save that for Raph.
Raph can comment on that next week. Raph, take notes. All right. Up next, then they had a really lovely interview with the father of Forgotten Realms, R.A. Salvatore, Bob, as we like to call it. Bob is such good people.
He is.
I used to play with a cosplay group that did drow costuming. I did a Dwergar with that group. And like we would get messages from Bob occasionally because he was impressed with and loved what our group did.
I have had email conversations with him when I was younger and aspiring to be a writer. Don't ask how I got his email address. I got his email address. I emailed him, and surprisingly, like, he emailed back. Like, we carried on in-depth conversations. He's an amazing person.
Yeah, he's super nice. He is good people. So Bob wrote they're putting out, I think next year is when it comes out, the third book in the Way of the Drow series, which is going to be purportedly the final Dritz book.
No.
Purportedly. We'll see how it ends. But it's Dritz going back to Menzoberranzan and fighting in basically a civil war to liberate Menzoberranzan. And according to Bob, in the interview, Bob says he has accepted that this may be the end of his story, and Dritz is okay with if he dies here doing this thing. It's okay because this thing needs to happen.
Sherry's Cat says, unpopular opinion, they do not like Dritz.
I like the concept of Dritz. I don't always like the utilization of Dritz because Dritz has, in a lot of ways, became the infallible character. Like Dritz can do no wrong. Dritz always win. Like he almost became boring because you knew Dritz is going to win every time.
I love Dritz, so that's my opinion. Y'all are wrong. That's all I'm saying.
I know, and you're entitled to your opinion. And I'm not saying I don't like him. I think that sometimes he's not utilized to the best. Like.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. I have those books.
If you want to call a character a Mary Sue, Dritz is kind of a Mary Sue. Let's be honest.
Those books helped me through a very hard time when I was battling suicide. So they have a special place. So he has a special place.
Absolutely. I like Dritz as a concept. Like I said, I just don't feel like in stories he's always utilized to the best effect. He's a little overpowered and a little, that's just me. And then Bob also talked about Neverwinter. Apparently, Bob and his son have helped write storylines for Neverwinter, where they're going to be expanding and allowing you to go to Menzoberranzan in Neverwinter.
Sweet.
You can play that game. There you go. And then the next thing, we get to see the virtual tabletop previewed. We actually get to see people play in the virtual tabletop. And it, admittedly, it's pretty cool looking. Our biggest reservation is how much of a system hog is it going to be? How accessible is it going to be to people who don't have high end computers? I noticed in the clip where Iffy and a couple other people are playing with one of the developers. They are all playing on identical laptops that all have a giant D&D ampersand stamped on them. Like, these are house computers that were already loaded with the program. So, like, that doesn't answer any of our questions as to whether or not, your shitty laptop or my shitty laptop is going to run it. I don't know.
So here's the thing: as far as full tabletop, virtual tabletops go, they're going to be resource hogs. You can't help it. That's why we use Owlbear Rodeo. It's made for battle maps. It's not meant to be a full virtual tabletop. Although 2.0 is fucking sweet, but you can run that motherfucker on a toaster. I mean, it just will run on anything. The D&D Beyond virtual tabletop looks awesome. Like, from a geek standpoint, it made my nipples hard. But from a tech guy standpoint, like, that's going to be such a resource hog, in my opinion.
And they're using Unreal Engine 5. It is, I mean, and one of the cool things they said, and I'm like, it seems like they're not trying to over monetize it. I mean, maybe they are. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. But they did say that you are going to be able to create your own assets in the virtual tabletop, and then put them out for other people to be able to download and use them, much like the homebrew stuff on D&D Beyond.
That's cool.
So you can create. So it will very much be creator driven. Yeah, but the thing is that the better stuff that you make forces Wizards of the Coast, and when they're putting out stuff, to up their game even more and make their stuff look better. So, like, that's a cool feature. I dig that. I applaud them for that. I think I think it's gonna do some cool things. But you can play without it, just like you can play without a battle map. You can play Theater of the Mind. You don't need all of that to play, but if you want it, it could be cool. And then we get to the things that I'm gonna want, but can't afford because they're ridiculously expensive. WizKids is putting out a line of D&D monster merch that are all life-sized.
Oh, sweet.
There's a life-size Mimic. That's the first one coming out. And the second one coming out, and this is the one that's going to break me, like, it's $145, y'all. It's ridiculous. It's 11 inches tall. It's made of soft foam. It's a baby owlbear.
Aww.
And it's fucking adorable. It is fucking adorable. It's not $145 adorable, but it's adorable. So we got those announcements. And then Joe Manganiello comes on the screen, y'all. Now, if you don't know who Joe is, Joe was in True Blood. He was the werewolf guy in True Blood. His name escapes me, but it doesn't really matter. He was also Deathstroke in Zack Snyder's Justice League. He's been in a lot of stuff. And he's kind of, a fun meathead actor. He's very built. He's very, like, he's been on the cover of Men's Fitness because he's got, like, a 12-pack of abs or something. Like, he is a fit and... What?
There's a a thing going around that some guy posted a picture of from the gym talking about
Yes.
talking shit about geeks, and then he posted a picture of him. Like, do you even bid bars, dude? It was
Yes. Yes.
he
Because Joe
big D&D
Manganiello
nerd.
is a nerd from the old school. Joe Manganiello was talking about playing D&D before, back when it still wasn't cool to talk about D&D. But here's this guy who is, fucking ripped and super manly looking, and like he looks like a jock. He does not look like a nerd at all. And yet this guy is in love with D&D and talks D&D nonstop, even when before being a nerd like that was cool, he was doing it. And we applaud him and we love Joe. Joe is producing the documentary for the 50th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons. And that is going to come out next year. And so that's really cool. And they're interviewing a bunch of people from a bunch of different walks of life who play D&D. Joe runs a celebrity D&D game in his house. By the way, just so you know, Joe Manganiello, as ripped and amazing as he is married to Sofia Vergara, who is astonishingly beautiful, and puts up with him playing D&D because she does not understand it. But he has a dungeon in his house where he has a cavalcade of celebrities come in to play.
Yep.
He's got a regular group, and then people guest star all the time. Professional wrestler The Big Show plays at his table.
Shaq.
Shaq has played at his table. The Damon Lindelof and the other guy, I can't remember the guys who created Game of Thrones for HBO. They play at his table. Yeah, like all kinds of people rotate into that game. He's got 11 players, I think, on the reg, and he is a giant Dragonlance fan. We've mentioned this on the show before. He bought the rights for film and movie for Dragonlance from Weiss and Hickman because he's friends with them. And they were the stories. Dragonlance were the stories that he found growing up, the ones that drew him into D&D. Same as me. Dragonlance was my jam. Forgotten Realms is cool. I love Faerun. I love playing in Faerun. I love reading about Crit. Apparently he announces during this that he's cut a deal with Wizards of the Coast, and they are producing a Dragonlance TV show, which is the right way to do that. It's too much for a movie.
It's going to be fucking
Do
awesome.
it as a TV show. So a guy who is like, all right, this guy, just so you know, he had Larry Elmore. He commissioned Larry Elmore to do a portrait of his favorite character he's played in D&D to hang up in his dungeon. Because Elmore is the guy that did all the covers for Dragonlance. He has a model that's like 2 feet tall of the Inn of the Last Home from Dragonlance that he had custom made to be in his dungeon. So, like, yeah, it's really cool, and we're glad that Joe has made this happen, and we're really excited to see how that show is going to turn out. And really looking forward to the documentary. The documentary is going to be a great onboarding tool for your friends who are like, "What the fuck is this D&D thing you do?" You go, "Oh well, here, let me show you a documentary with a bunch of cool people whose names you're going to recognize." And how they're big nerds like I am and play D&D, and it's going to make you want to play. So, yeah.
So while you're gone, I've been doing geeky D&D stuff.
Uh-huh.
So anybody that watches our stream knows that we rely heavily on music. It is one of the things that helps sets the atmosphere. It helps with the immersion. Every game Locke is listing out the amazing musicians who have allowed us to use their music in game. The problem is that YouTube is shutting down all the music bots because they're coming out with a application of their own that integrates into Discord so that they can be the only one. Well, I think this is bullshit. I called for a boycott of YouTube and nobody would listen. So I have taught myself Python and coding my own fucking bot. Not only will it play music, it will roll dice, it will generate NPCs, it'll generate stats, treasure, critical fails, critical hits, and wild magic surges. And once I get it finished, I'm going to put it up that people who subscribe to our Patreon can get access to it.
Awesome. That's really cool. I am on board. I knew about the critical fail side of that and the NPC generation because I've been watching the updates on that as they scroll in the feed as you test the bot. But yeah, they're cool. It's gonna be a music bot. I love it. It's awesome. Okay, so finally, in the D&D Direct, we get Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford talking about what's coming next in D&D. We know that the next thing coming out is the Keys to the Golden Vault, which is apparently a set of adventures that are all heists. There are 13 heists in the book, one of which, if you when you watch the Honor Among Thieves movie, one of the places they go in that movie is Revel's End, which is a prison in the frozen north of Faerun. And one of the heists involves breaking into and then back out of Revel's End. So that sounds like fun. And who doesn't love a good heist, right? Then the next book that comes out after that is going to be all about the origin of giants.
Sweet.
And expanding the lore of giants. It's called Bigby Presents The Glory of Giants. And that's going to come out sometime in late this year, I think. I think that's the last one this year. And then, yeah, I mean, the artwork for that looks amazing from what they showed. And this one, wait, did I skip one? Make sure. Yes, I did miss one. Okay. Next is so if you've been playing the canonical adventures in D&D, like if you've been playing in an Adventure League game and you've been playing through the adventures in order and all of that, you might have noticed that in a lot of the adventures, in some of the adventures, strange obelisks have appeared in places, but you never really got anything meaty about them, right? Well, they're finally going to start answering what the obelisks are all about. And they're going to start that with Phandelver and Below.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And an adventure that returns you to Phandalin, which was, if you remember, the Mines of Phandelver were the adventure that came out with the starter set.
It's also, if you're looking for a good introduction
yes.
Adventure, something to introduce someone to, it's great to introduce people to D&D. So
it really is. And the fact that they're now putting out a sequel to that ties back in and is going to answer some questions about other things that have been happening in other adventures. Because apparently the obelisk in Phandelver opens and a bunch of monsters just start pouring out of it, and you've got to figure out how to stop it.
Sounds cool.
That does sound cool. Now, this next one is the one that's really, really got me like hyped because I played the shit out of these games as a kid, or as a teenager, I should say. Planescape Adventures in the Multiverse.
Sweet.
They are bringing Planescape to the tabletop side. If you didn't play Planescape, like, I'm sorry you missed out. What was the name? Does anybody remember the name of the Talking Skull companion you had in that game?
I do not.
I don't either. But like, that is, oh my god! So Planescape, you woke up. You were a reborn before we had that name. You were a husk. You were a dead body on a slab, and you wake up and you don't know who you are or how you got there, but you're undead basically, and you've got magic powers, and there's a flaming talking skull that follows you around and gives you advice about shit. And it was a great game, and I'm so excited to play in the Planescape world. And they said that Planescape is going to be the real jumping off point for the stories in the multiverse of D&D and how everything interconnects moving forward. So Planescape is going to be the linchpin for everything that comes after it in D&D, according to them.
That's going to be fucking awesome.
And then you're going to hate this tier, and I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe you won't hate it. Maybe you'll love it. I don't know. This seems really dangerous to me, but it's so classic D&D that you can't hate it. They are going to put out a book explaining the origin of the Deck of Many Things.
That will be awesome.
It'll be awesome, or it'll be campaign breaking, just like the deck is. So, you know.
David said the dude's name was Morte.
Mort, yeah, that's right.
Another D&D thing that's dropping, if you're a video gamer, Baldur's Gate 3 drops soon. So if anybody wants to get that for me, my Steam ID is JWC_TN. But no, seriously, it looks awesome. I love Baldur's Gate. I played the shit out of Baldur's Gate as a young individual when it came out on PC. There's just a, you know, I gotta, hold on. Let me get it so I can do it. I gotta take my hat off to Matt Mercer and the Critical Role crew, and to the Q Times crew, and Brennan Lee Mulligan and the Dimensions 20 crew. These people that have helped drive D&D into the mainstream, because we're getting so much cool shit.
And I mean, like, yeah. If you have not watched Legends of Vox Machina, the animated series on Amazon Prime, and you enjoy listening to our bullshit, you should really watch that show. That show being successful is what has opened a lot of doors for the viability of other good D&D related content coming to the screen. Because that show proved you can show what D&D is. It can be silly and serious and emotional and hilarious all at the same time. It can be everything that a campaign is. And they do a really, really good job with it. My understanding from a few people that I know that have already seen Honor Among Thieves is that this is a party we want to see more of. That this is it gets it almost completely right. And while there are some things that are homebrewed, in the movie, like some things that don't conform exactly to what the rules say, that's exactly right for a campaign too.
It is. It really is.
So, can druids turn into owlbears? Who the fuck cares? The DM said yes.
Exactly.
My DM said yes too. I get to turn into an owlbear. And I mean, the truth of that is, we've argued about this to no end. But in Faerun, owl bears are naturally occurring. They are not monstrosities. They are not hybrid creatures. They are just there. So therefore, in Faerun, they count as animals.
And I decided in Runas Kesha, they count as animals as well. So yes, you get to turn into an owlbear.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
I got my little owl bear right here.
Oh,
Him's wearing a cape with little owl bears on it. Pretty lady got me that. And then we get into 2025 in their announcements. What's coming in 2025? They don't give us any specific books, any names of books that are coming in 2025. They just tell us about the bad guys. Who's coming back as villains across the multiverse who are going to be fucking shit up that we have to fix as players in official adventures in 2025. Vecna is coming back.
I'm not surprised there.
No surprise there. But listening to them talk about it, like they've got a big, like, multiverse affecting Vecna return planned in the canon of the D&D world. And that's going to be awesome. Not surprising at all, the Red Wizards of Thay
Nice.
are going to be doing some evil shit, them being the villains of the D&D movie, it is not surprising that they are coming out in books as well as bad guys. I'm going to skip that one for a minute. We'll come back to it. The League of Malevolence will also be making a return. If you don't know the League of Malevolence, it's a bunch of like sort of competent but not uber level villains. One of the most famous of them is Warduke, who I happen to have right here. If you remember Warduke, do I have him in frame?
Yeah,
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
Over this way. There we go. We'll get him in frame. I had to wait for the delay. Yeah, so Warduke is pretty badass, and him and his ilk will be returning to cause havoc in the D&D multiverse. And then there's the one I skipped. Tier. They have announced that in 2025, officially debuting in canon as a bad guy in D&D, Venger.
Fuck yes.
Venger is coming to TTRPG. He is no longer going to be just the cartoon villain. We get real Venger.
That is awesome.
Which I will also say, Warduke. Warduke showed up in the D&D cartoon. He was there. Briefly, but he was there. So, like, I would love to see Venger and Warduke team up again. Among others. But yeah, we're gonna get a Venger module or something where we get to fight Venger. Maybe the kids will show up. I have played in a couple of campaigns where the kids from the D&D cartoon showed up all grown up and leveled up. In one of those, in my favorite one of those, run by Wonder Goon, the Bobby the Barbarian had killed Eric the Cavalier and taken his magic shield, and was now a high-level barbarian with a magic club, a magic shield, riding a full-grown unicorn.
That's awesome.
So,
So what's going on with you, chat? What's up? Questions, comments?
Talk to us.
Talk to us. Get down with us. We're so happy that you're here. We do this for you. We love you guys. We have the best audience, bar none.
Bar none.
Just a reminder, because people are out, we won't be streaming this weekend, so no sins, no bloodlines. Have to wait the next weekend. Well, eat something, Welsh, if you're hungry. Siri said they want to be an owlbear. Poof, you're an owlbear. DM says so. Congratulations. So I'm wondering, so I'm sure we've all seen on social media the popcorn bucket that is a D20 box.
Yes.
I'm wondering how long before that hits Thingiverse and I can 3D print it.
I'm really jealous. YouTuber Ginny D, who puts out a lot of great D&D content. She got a box from Wizards of the Coast with a bunch of D&D merch in it for her to check out. And I just want the box. I mean, the merch was all cool. It included the Black Dragon toy and the gelatinous cube toy I was talking about earlier. But, like, the cardboard box it came in was shaped like a treasure chest, but when you opened it, it had a mimic mouth inside.
That's awesome.
Before you could get to the stuff in it. Like, I'm like, I just want the box. I want a cardboard mimic.
David says that the story drivers for the move to the new version, especially with Planescape and Vecna being a driving force, it has a big second edition to third edition vibe, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it too. It is going to be awesome. I can't wait. There are some things that have been released in the playtest for 1D&D that we're kind of like, but I can't wait to see what the final result is.
Yeah.
I'm excited. What a time to be alive, man. Like,
right? Just for the record, I went in and looked up the notable members of the League of Malevolence, since I couldn't remember who all of them were. The leader of the group is a sorcerer named Kellic, who, if you've played D&D long enough, you will recognize his artwork, if nothing else. Warduke, the Heartless Mercenary. Skyla, a warlock and former member of that absconded with the Motherhorn. Zarek, the Assassin, and Zargash, an especially disloyal priest of Orcus. And their arch nemesis, the League of Malevolence, is the adventuring company called Valor's Call.
what else you got, chat? Talk to us. Welsh is driving. They said they'll ask questions when they get home. Oh, look what time it is. It's time to take our break. We're going to go ahead and take 10 minutes. We're going to get our snickety snacks and our beverages of choice. If I can remember how to do the break in Streamlabs. I've not done this in a while. We miss you, Ames. We're going to take our 10 minutes and we'll be back. And we are back. Thanks so much for hanging out while we got our beverages of choice and our snickety snacks. Uh, Thank you so much for being here today. We weren't planning on it, then we decided to do it. We talked about some direct D&D. Now we're talking about just a little bit of everything. During the break, Siri Cat posted in the chat that they heard I do 3D printing and one of my favorite resources for STLs. So Thingiverse, and then I model a lot of my own stuff. I have a degree in multimedia and graphic design, so I do a lot of 3D modeling. What is my best print? I do not have my best print. One of my best friends, Jeff Farber, they also did some of the music that we use. Got married and wanted a bunch of Star Wars stuff, so I did like AT-ATs and Death Stars and TIE Fighters. They were flower holders, centerpieces for the tables and stuff. But my favorite is me. I printed myself, and that flaming sphere in my hand is the plot twist. So that is my favorite print to date. Some of the other things that I do fantasy jewelry, wired jewelry. I want to get into casting. I have to wait till I can have space for that, but I want to get into casting jewelry, but I do wire fantasy jewelry. So.
Yeah. So, real quick, I realized something. I was trying to remember the name of Shadow Demon from the D&D cartoon, and I couldn't remember it because it's too easy. He is a Shadow Demon, and that's his fucking name. And I'm wondering if we're going to see Shadow Demon when we see Venger as a villain.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. But in trying to look that up, I was looking at Venger's Wikipedia, and one of the first things they list in the quotes is like a conversation between him and Kellic. I had forgotten Kellic and Warduke both were in the D&D cartoon. So the League of Malevolence had a presence in the D&D cartoon, and they're showing back up. Venger is showing back up. And in Venger's wiki, it lists him as having gotten his powers from the Nameless One.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which we all know is how Vecna is sometimes referred to.
Yes.
So that would make Venger a Vecna follower, which would be interesting.
Oh, how the turntables have turned.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if we'll also get Venger's sister. Do you remember his sister?
Vaguely.
Karina? Yeah. No, she was not as cool as Venger, but she was pretty cool.
Venger started my love of villains.
And Venger, according to the lore, started as a hero and then got corrupted and turned into a half-fiend.
I remember watching the cartoons and was like, this dude is so cool.
Yeah. I wanted Bobby's bow, though.
Was that not the sweet? Hank's sweetest. The bow was sweet.
It made me want to play a ranger.
Rangers are my favorite class.
That and, Aragorn.
Yeah. What else you got for us, chat? I always forget there's a delay.
Interestingly, thinking about it while we're waiting for chat to offer us other things to talk about, if Venger is a follower of Vecna, that would explain why he's at odds with Tiamat.
Yeah.
That really oh yeah, no, that totally explains that.
Okay, I think David is related to Ustad. They said they like the concept of the Ranger. The 5e execution is disappointing.
I think you're wrong. Okay, maybe the initial, but they fixed a lot since the initial 5e Ranger. And then they gave us some absolute fucking gems like the Gloomstalker Ranger. And the Horizon Walker Ranger are both fucking amazing.
Oh, he's definitely referring to the vanilla version. Yeah, the vanilla version was so disappointing. Oh my god. Siri asked, if you found yourself in a D&D world, which would you want it to be? Runas Kesha, because I know it. And what would be your class? I'd be a ranger. I grew up in eastern Tennessee in the woods. I am at home in the mountains and the woodlands. I prefer animals over people. Yeah, I'd be a good ranger.
Oh man, I love Runeth Kesha, but I don't know, getting to go to Kryn and hang out with some of my favorite characters from my youth, it's very tempting. At this age, me as I am now, I would want to be a dwarf and go hang out with Flint, and just be curmudgeonly. I'm down for that. Let's do that. Hey kids, get off my fucking lawn, dwarves.
Get out of my damn minds.
Yeah. Class, I don't know. I honestly, I'd probably be multi-class because I'm bisexual and I can't choose one thing.
Siri Cat agrees that the 5e Ranger was terrible at the beginning. And David said the patches to the Ranger out of Tasha's fixed a whole slew of the problems they have at the class. Tasha's really did do a lot to boost the Ranger class. I think that what I would like to see happen in 1D&D is for them to take the quote-unquote Beastmaster, make those things just standard across the board for all Rangers. Mm-hmm. Because Rangers need animal companions. That's just part of being a fucking Ranger. Mm-hmm. Bard is a good class. I think I'd make a good Bard, too. Mm-hmm. Weave my web of stories and ends for gold and beer. Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, but you can't. You could be a Bard Ranger, but it's not in Runeth Kesha.
Nope, because they don't allow multi-class in Runeth Kesha.
And Bard Ranger would be. I don't think I've ever seen anybody play a Bard Ranger, but that'd be a fun combo, role play wise. I mean, I built that as the guy who spends so much time alone in the woods. He tells himself stories.
Yeah.
And then sometimes other people hear them and are like, "That's really good." Cleric is also on my list. I love playing clerics. I find them to be a lot of fun. Druids, rangers. I also really like playing barbarians and warlocks.
Speaking of clerics, hold on to your hat. I'm working on something. Something special. I've been working on a return to Scions of Oblivion, a 20+ level campaign.
Ooh. I'm down. That'd be a lot of fun. I was not expecting you to ask me to be Karak mid-game in the last Bloodlines episode. but slipping back into being Karak was like putting on an old comfortable pair of shoes. Like it was the easiest thing in the world to do. Karak might be my favorite character I've ever.
As the DM of Karok, that makes me feel awesome.
I mean, he's right up there. Like, you know what, the vast majority of my favorite characters I've ever played are ones I've played at your table. Like, by and large, because Dar is up there in that list. Laz is up there in that list. And Karak. Like,
David says if they could wish something into existence, it would be a revamp of the Bard that feels like the original version, Druid-based rather than Arcane. That would be interesting. That could be very interesting. I wonder what that would look like. This is going to be one of those 3 a.m. wake-ups when I'm cussing you, David, just so you know. So,
I mean, well, what it would look like right now is very different than what it would look like under 1 D&D. Because in 1 D&D, you would just switch the spell list to Primal instead of Arcane, and it wouldn't have a lot of other effects.
Yeah, but I'm looking at it through the lens of 5e, you know?
Yes. I was just looking ahead with it for a moment. I was like, oh, it just changes the spell list. It is kind of a shame, though, that, you know, if you want to play the best archer in the game, you have to play a bard.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of sucks.
But it shows the utility and versatility of the bard. You can literally be the best archer in the world by playing a bard. See, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree too. See, if I was a bard, that's what I would be. I'd be the sage storyteller. You know, I would be Frog John come to life.
I built a bard once that I really liked the idea of, who was based on a Norse skull, like teller of sagas and do, you know, lore and deeds, like that sort of bard, and I very much liked him. So, of course, I built that while I was in the middle of playing the Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Love that game.
Mm-hmm.
I need to finish it. I've not had time.
Yeah, I haven't finished it yet either. Recently, I've been playing Mass Effect 1.
I really want the new 40K game.
I had never played Mass Effect, and Siri was like, you need to play Mass Effect. I was like, okay.
The name is escaping me.
Crap, I can't think of it either. Siri plays it. Siri, what's the name of the 40K game?
Dark Tide, yes. Tide. I really want Dark Tide. It's on my wish list. And people to play it with. That's the other thing that's on my wish list.
You get it, I'll get it, I'll play with you. Siri'd play with you. Although Siri says it's eh.
I still want it. It's 40K. Oh, before I forget, I'm just going to go ahead and ask you on stream. I'm going to put you on the spot, what? Do you have Easter plans?
I don't think we do, no.
Awesome, because we want to stream Easter Sunday. And I have a special adventure for Easter Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Tell me what I need character-wise.
Oh, your character. It'll be your character.
Oh, okay.
But
So it'll be an official Bloodlands game.
yes, yes. Bunny Foo and the Mice of the Field. It'll be awesome.
I'm afraid. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, and for those wondering, no, it's not a real pipe. It's a vape. I vape. But I got it so that I could, look more like a storyteller when I'm DMing, because I'm a huge geek and, do that sort of shit. They spent too much time on making costumes for your character that you need to pay real money for, and not enough time on game balance. Now, see, that sucks when they focus so much on the micro markets that it impacts game balance. That's never good.
That's why I am and have been since it came out, and continue to be a fan of Apex Legends. It's a battle royale game, but like they looked at the battle royale games that were on the market. They said, "Hey, these games here are the flaws, and we're gonna fix all of those flaws, and then we're gonna put out a cool game, and we're gonna put it out for free, and we're gonna have a portion of our crew that is devoted to making the skins and things, because all of the microtransactions are purely cosmetic. And meanwhile, we're going to have a separate crew that is devoted to making sure the game balance works right, nerfing and buffing things as we need to in the meta." And they have been on it the whole time. Like, every season, the game improves. And the weapons that felt overpowered before now are a little bit nerfed, and they're not overpowered anymore. And these weapons that felt underpowered have gotten buffed, and maybe now they're a little overpowered, but they'll adjust that the next time around. Like they actually care and listen to the feedback of the people playing the game, and that's what's important to me in a game.
I've not played it. I may have to check it out if I ever get free time to play games again.
It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I mean, they're on season 15 or 16 now of the game. But like I said, it's all cosmetic. All the upgrades are cosmetics. Everybody starts from the same baseline. You're not, having played long, the only advantage I have is that I know where everything is on the map.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got for us? Hey, I see Thanks Much Neighbors joined. Howdy, neighbor. Been a while. Thanks for joining.
Hi, neighbor. Let's see. I got anything else we can talk about? Dude, I'm looking for things. Remember, folks, we did this on a whim. We were not prepared at all.
Nope, not prepared at all. We weren't going to stream until last minute. We decided to. So, ta-da! Here we are. Well, if there's nothing else from the chat, I think we'll go ahead and call it for today. We got an hour and a half in. That's a good time.
Yeah, that's not bad. Real quick, something I did remember, and I don't think we've mentioned it on stream, but if you're on D&D Beyond, you can you can claim the Honor Among Thieves bundle, which comes with legendary magic items from the game, a set of Thumber Shard digital dice, and a gallery of artwork, and I think stat blocks for the characters from the movie.
That's
And that's
cool.
a cool thing that they did. I'm claiming mine right now so I can see what's actually in it. Let's view the Thieves Gallery.
While you're doing that, Latina C 2002, otherwise known as Christina, aka Tiami, says it's a rainy, sleepy day today. It is a rainy, sleepy day. I've been battling depression hardcore, and today the weather has just made it absolutely miserable. That's one reason I'm glad we stream, because I get an escape from the voices that tell me I'm not good enough while I come here. No, I'm not looking for pity. I do not refrain from speaking about my mental health issues because too many people do, and there's so much taboo because of that. So I believe in speaking openly and honestly about mental health issues because there's so many of us that face them.
Yeah, and absolutely, and I applaud you for it. Yes, the Thieves Gallery comes with the stat blocks for all of the main characters: the Druid, the Bard, uh, the Rogue, played by Hugh Grant, um, the Barbarian, the Sorcerer, the Paladin, and the the evil female Red Wizards of Thay, who is one of the main antagonists of the movie. Get all of their stat blocks,
Cool.
which is pretty cool. And then you also get their magic items, which is pretty awesome. I want to know about the sword that has the dagger built into it. Anyway,
I just want to
I'm
say thank
definitely
you.
going to use dice. By the way, the digital dice.
Yeah.
For anytime I have to roll, the Thumber Shards are they're pretty fucking sexy.
Awesome.
I love me a big chunky dragon. So who doesn't love a big fat boy dragon?
I got to figure out how to claim mine. I don't remember how.
I typed into I googled Honor Among Thieves character sheets, and I had to scroll down. It's like the fourth or fifth one down is the D&D Beyond link to go and claim the stuff.
Oh, there we go.
Trying to see. I'm looking at the Paladin's character sheet. I want to see if his sword is on there. Okay, so the dagger sword that the Paladin carries apparently changes form based on his choosing and can be a long sword, a short sword, a long sword or a short sword and a dagger. It can shift between.
That is cool. Also, the
That is
Thunder
cool.
Chart dice are awesome.
Yeah.
I just rolled one. The animation's cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us. We're going to take a moment just to remind you who we are, where you can find us, and get the hell out of here on this beautiful rainy Friday. Go ahead, Locke.
Hi, gamers. I'm still Locke Clark, and it has been my pleasure to impromptu jump on here and nerd out about what D&D Direct announced. And You can find me all over the social medias at Lock Unruly. That's Lock with an H.
And I'm Tier the DM. I am the world's okayest DM. And you can find me on Twitter at tier_the_DM. That's TYR. Guys, just remember, things get difficult, times get hard, but you're not alone. Remember to love each other. It costs nothing. Times will be difficult, but find someone whose love and strength will let you grow strong so that you can share your love and strength with someone else. And remember, until next time, if someone doesn't know, don't cast aspersions, cast guidance. We love you guys.
Bye, everybody.